back to our channel, everybody. We are really excited that you are here today. If you haven't figured it out already, it's Christmas time. And for Christmas this year, or for the holidays this year, we are going to do a 12 Days of Baking with Crystal vlog series. For this vlog series, as it sounds, we are going to do 12 days of baking, 12 different recipes, one every single day. And we are really excited because we are starting it off with a bang. We are going to start it off with my grandma's great cookies. That's literally what it says on her recipe card. This is my grandma's handwriting, and this is the recipe book that she kept all of her desserts in. I was so blessed enough this was what we were able to get from my grandma, were her recipe cards, which were really important to me when she passed. And so because we're cooking with grandma's recipes, we of course are going to be using my apron. This is my grandma's apron. This was what she always wore every single time she cooked or baked or did anything in the kitchen. She always wore this apron. And then we are also going to be using my great-grandmother's sifter and my great-grandmother's measuring cup. So I also have my other measuring cups as well, but we are going to start off using those. These are really great cookies, obviously, because that's the name, but these are chocolate chip peanut butter cookies, and they are scrumptious. If you are new around here, welcome. I'm Crystal, and I am one half of For Love of the Mouse, and I love to bake. In fact, every Christmas I do a whole weekend where I do nothing but bake, and we end up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cookies and baked treats, and I take them to our local churches, I take them to all of our neighbors, I take them to our friends and family, and I also take them to first responders in the area. So this is kind of a little spin on that because I will probably vlog that. If you follow our weekly vlogs, be sure to stick around. So if you are new around here, click that subscribe button to help us out and support our channel. Click that like button if you like holiday baking, and click that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we release a video and every time we release a cooking or baking with Crystal video. Without further ado, we should just get started because these cookies are calling. To start it off, of course, I have to put my grandmother's apron on. She made this apron. She was an amazing sewer. She sewed a ton of amazing things. My grandfather was a woodworker, so both of my grandparents were really handy and active in that way. My grandma really loved to bake, so I'm so excited that I have her recipes, and I'm really excited that I get to share this one with you today. So to start off, I want to say that there will also be a blog post coming out on our blog, fortheloveofthemouse.com, link down below. And with that blog post will be step-by-step instructions along with photos of everything. So be sure to check that out for when you are ready to make these cookies, and then you can have step-by-step instructions. The first thing we need to do is we're going to need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. To start off, we are going to need 1 cup of softened butter, that's 2 sticks, 1 cup of creamy peanut butter, 1 cup of white sugar, and 1 cup of brown sugar, firmly packed. So you're gonna wanna put that in your mixer, and we're gonna beat it for about 3 to 4 minutes until the color lightens, and also until it's nice and fluffy and creamy. All right, we've got our 2 sticks of softened butter. We're also going to use our paddle attachment. Grab my brown sugar here. And you want to make sure this is firmly packed. Brown sugar is the best. It adds such an amazing richness and like a depth of flavor. I'm going to add just a little bit more. It's hard to get my grandma's because it bends, so it's hard to get it in there. But it adds such a depth of flavor and just delicious richness to baking. So we're next going to add a cup of sugar. We're going to add a cup of creamy peanut butter. It's so fun to have just memories mixed with Christmas baking. I think that if anything else, for me, I love baking at the holidays because it just reminds me so much of family. Growing up, every year, my grandma would make batches and batches and batches of especially her gingerbread cookies that are just divine. They're so delicious. And she would make batches of the dough, and we would just make so many cookies. And then also several other ones, including these throughout, but she made these all year long. So we're going to beat this for about 3 to 4 minutes, like I said, until it's creamy and fluffy. All right, so it's been about 4 minutes. I have beaten this mixture on medium-high for that time, and I also stopped it a couple of times to scrape down the bowl so that it's all evenly incorporated. I'll show you what it looks like. You can see it's a lighter color and it's all nice and fluffy and nicely incorporated. So next up, we are going to sift our flour and our baking soda. We are going to do 2 cups of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Got my sifter and my bowl. You don't have to sift. It's actually really uncommon in recipes nowadays to have sifted ingredients. I always sift my dry ingredients because it just makes for a lighter, fluffier, better cookie. And it just makes, there's no clumps and everything just comes out amazingly. So I just highly recommend doing that step. So I've got my teaspoon of baking soda. Put that in there, and we're going to sift it together. You want to make sure to get all the clumps, but if there's things left over in the sifter, that's the point of sifting, and it pulls them out, and then you don't have to use them in your baking. So I dumped that, and now that we have that done, we are going to add 2 eggs, 1 at a time. You could be fancy and break your eggs into a bowl, which is the smart thing to do. I never do that. I like to live on the wild side. So I'm going to turn my mixer on low and crack your eggs in. If you're concerned about shells, if you're concerned about getting a bad egg in there, make sure you just do it in a separate bowl. We're going to let that get fully incorporated. And then we're going to put it really on low this time, and we're going to slowly add our flour and baking soda mixture. I didn't make a mess. That is a first. We're going to let that just become incorporated. I'm actually going to stop it and grab my spatula and scrape down the sides. You don't want to overbeat your dough because that's going to create a tough cookie, and you want your cookies to be light and fluffy and airy. We're going to give it just another mix. The last step is the chocolate chips. My grandma always used semi-sweet chocolate chips, so that's what I'm going to do. But you could also use white chocolate chips, you could use butterscotch chips, you could use little mini chips, whatever you want to do. All right, I've got my 1 cup of chocolate chips. Dump that in, give it a quick once over. We might add just a little bit more. And that's it. Now we just got to get them onto our baking sheets. Batch out and they look perfect. I did them for 12 minutes. I started them at 10 and then I think they needed a little bit longer. I like mine to be really underdone, so if you like yours a little bit more, I would go 15 minutes. But we have 3 more cookie sheets in the oven, so this recipe makes a ton of cookies. All right, well, I've got my cookies out of the oven. They look delicious. These are some of the cooled ones here. I'm so excited about this. I'm excited that I got to share one of my grandmother's recipes with you. It's been really fun hanging out with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out the corresponding blog post for detailed information and more photos about these cookies. And thank you guys again for stopping by today. This is day 1 of 12 days of baking with Crystal. So we're just getting started with the holiday baking. If you're new around here, be sure that you click that subscribe button, click that like button if you like holiday baking and you like what we're doing, and that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we release a video. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you for stopping by, and for the love of the mouse, never forget that it all started with a mouse.